Welcome back to this crazy adventure. We have had a lot happen in the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
Since the last two videos. What happened first? I can't even think back to what. Okay, so 2 weeks ago, we
Well, 2 weeks ago, we were packing everything out to take
to Atlanta.
stuff to Brianna in Atlanta, which
Yes.
was in itself.
A long.
So when you order a U-Haul, which the U-Haul was fantastic as far as vehicles go. It drove really well. Actually got decent fuel mileage. And had AC. So the problem was when you rent the U-Haul, you can contract with this company called
Moving Help.
And they're a disinterested third party. And I mean that literally. They don't give anything. So they put you in touch with people that will help you box and load your U-Haul. And so we chose that option. And the one that we chose on the Huntsville side, they were supposed to be there at 2 o'clock. I called them the day before, and he wanted to upcharge because of some mileage thing or something. Anyway, they found us another one, and they were going to be there at 2 o'clock to load the U-Haul because our estate sale was going on at the same time. So 2 o'clock came and went, and we started calling these people, and
3 o'clock came and went.
4 o'clock came and went. And they kept telling us they were stuck in traffic, which, we get traffic reports on our phones.
We did believe it the first time
Yeah,
because it was a Friday afternoon, and
at 9 o'clock at night, you're not stuck in traffic.
yes,
Anyway, they didn't show up until
9:30.
10
Yeah.
o'clock, somewhere around there. Anyway, me and a neighbor, which thank you, Dave, and your sons, we had loaded 80% of the truck already. The only thing we had left was
Dining room table and china cabinet and a couple of a coffee table and some end tables. That was it. All the boxes were in. The rest of the furniture was in. Everything was done.
It took them another 2 hours to get that loaded. So we didn't leave Huntsville till 11:30.
We had to drive 3 hours to Atlanta. We got in at 3:30 in the morning.
Got into bed at 4 and had to be back up
to meet the other set of
the other set of movers,
which were fantastic.
Yeah, lights out, fantastic. Had to meet them at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 a.m.
So we got all that done. Got everything unloaded to Brianna's house, and then the second moving people, they were like, you still have hours that you paid for. Why don't we follow you over to your storage location? We'll just unload everything there for you as well for no extra money. So that was fantastic, and great people. Huntsville side, y'all need to work on it. Atlanta side, y'all did a bang up job.
Yes.
So we got that done. We came back to Huntsville.
Our house was essentially empty from the estate sale, but during the estate sale, our closing date got moved up. So 4 whole days, which doesn't seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme, when you're trying to clean your house out completely, it is a big deal.
Well,
a little bit bigger deal than we thought.
The biggest deal was that everything that didn't sell in the estate sale, we were giving to charity. So all of that stuff went in the garage. And for those of you that don't know, when a house closes, you can't have your stuff in it no more. It's there's legal issues there. There's liability issues there.
Yeah.
So all of our stuff was in the garage. The new homeowners needed to move it up because the Fed increased, interest rates, and they were already bumping up against, a hard lock that they had. So they needed to move it up. They graciously agreed that we could leave the stuff in the garage for
until
24 hours till charity
closing.
could pick it up. And
yeah.
So that alleviated itself.
So we got all the stuff. The estate sale sold. Donations done. estate sale closing went well.
Yes.
Donations picked up. And then we went back and we were like, let's go ahead and sell the car. So we went around to some dealerships. We got a good deal on my car. Got it sold.
Sold the car.
And then our AC started freezing up.
Yep.
So we decided that we're done trying to deal with our local dealer, and we contacted East or West directly, and they agreed to get us in a little quicker than Camping World.
Yeah,
Camping World's not where we bought our rig, but
and in full disclosure, need to be honest about how that happened.
okay.
So this is where communication is key. And one person can say something and somebody else can hear something else, or they can type it in an email and get things misconstrued. So East to West said, absolutely, we can get your rig in. What Clay heard was,
Come now,
please.
Which is not what they meant.
Which is not what they meant in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So we loaded the rig up and we started heading for Indiana. And we got an email, I guess the day we were getting into Indiana, saying, whoa, we didn't know y'all were coming now. We can't get you in until next week. So
next Friday, which was a week from the day we were.
Right, which is Labor Day weekend.
The weekend, the Friday before Labor Day is when they can get us in. Which I feel like it's not going to really get worked on until the Tuesday after Labor Day. So,
and it's not a big deal because the humidity is lower up here.
Yeah.
The heat's not as bad. We do have one AC that
kind of works pretty good.
Kind of keeping up. It's not unbearable.
Right.
So we've got, those are the two main issues that we've got to get fixed is, the bedroom AC, we have to set it on 60 for it to constantly run, because if we set it at 68, it'll run and then it'll shut off, but it'll never come back on. We have to power it off to get it to cycle back up. So
yeah, but
this one is absolutely freezing, like 2 inches thick across the coils. So there's something wrong with it. It's either a manufacturer's defect of it doesn't have enough Freon in it, or something, because it's clean as a whistle. It's not dirty by any means whatsoever.
And after this, we're going to show a video of us boondocking on the way here, and then I think he went up there and took some pictures of that 2-inch thick block of ice, and we'll put that in. Yeah. But here we are. We're in Indiana. We're waiting for East to West to get us into service, and we're just chilling now.
And we met some really cool people.
RV is their channel. Kim. We love them. They're a lot of fun.
They're a hoot. We had dinner with them last night. We had hamburgers cooked on the Blackstone, and
go follow their channel. Go subscribe.
Yeah, go check them out, because he is absolutely amazing with video editing.
Yeah,
he does a really good job.
Yes.
They're from Utah. They're getting ready to build a homestead in Texas, or close on a homestead in Texas, but they're full time now.
They've been full time since October, I think.
Yeah. They introduced us to Pedigo bicycles, which seem to be really cool. We're going to go.
I think Kim's brother owns
several stores.
Yeah, several stores. We're going to check those bikes out and hopefully get us some. And so I guess we can just show you how we boondock now.
Yeah, we load that in there.
Okay.
We will let you know where we end up from here. We're either going to go to Louisiana and replace the truck, or we're going to go to Texas and title the existing truck, or we're going to go to Michigan and wait for East to West, something along those.
We don't know where we're flying by the seat of our pants right now.
No planning.
No plans.
Show the video.
All right.
So we boondocked last night. I'll get y'all a wide view here in a minute, but this is how we travel. We have the clothes basket, or the dirty clothes hamper, ratcheted to the island. It ratchets to the garbage can, and of course we've got that so it doesn't mess up but that's how that travels. Then we've got those things down there for storage. That's the current table situation. The top box is all legal documents and stuff that we've got to go through as far as paperwork. And then the thing below it is where all the shoes stay. So then we'll move back up here. Bathroom, everybody knows how a bathroom goes. Up here, we just put the Starlink with a blanket over it just so that it doesn't bounce around too much. There's my work monitors. This up here is relatively easy. We're actually going to Elkhart because East West is going to take a look at the fifth wheel. This AC, as long as you have the dump valve open, it'll run the whole time. As soon as you close it, it's like the thermostat sensor that's up in there never notices that the coils come down below temperature, so it never kicks back on. So we've got to have that one looked at. Then this one in here, this one freezes over like 2 inches thick, and we'll put pictures of that in the video. But as you can see, all we did was we pulled in, we put one slide out, and then we fired up the generator, which a lot of people want to know. Yeah, we stayed in a rest stop straight up. This is where we are, and this is how that's what we did. Now I've got to clean that up a little bit, but as you can see, we're literally right off the interstate. We're right here. I forget what part of Indiana. I'm not sure if we're north of Indianapolis or what, but we're going to those guys for them to get us straightened out. And it's not anything that we're irritated about. We've been having a few issues here and there that our dealer just hasn't been able to get straightened out. So one of them is that right there. They tried to fix that, and what they actually did was the dealer busted the cabinet. So I can't begin to tell y'all how important it is to choose the right dealer. And nothing against them. I mean, they've tried. It's just they typically made a bigger mess than what was already there. So
we're not going to name names.
We're not going to name names because they have been a fantastic dealer. They have really, really tried their hardest. So we contacted East to West. We gave them a list of, I think it was 15 things, the biggest being the AC units. And we're taking it up there, and they're going to fix it for us. See y'all later. That's how we boondock. We carry, these are empty right now, but I can put gasoline in them if we run across no ethanol gasoline for the generator, and then we carry 4 propane tanks. And each one of those will get us 18 hours of running the rig. So we drive till it starts to get dark, and then we pull over. I take a propane tank and a power cord, and we hook it up to the generator, fire it up. We get the ACs going, and we're good to the next morning. We run the water heater off of propane, and as long as we have full fresh tanks, this was pretty campy.
She's a little dirty.
She is nasty.
Ooh. Beautiful day.
So we run a backflip, which I'm not impressed with the weight of it, but what I do like is it creates a cover for the propane tanks and the tools, but it doesn't interfere with the hitch. So we can run it strapped up to the straps right there. I don't have to have it all the way up against the cab, but it doesn't interfere with the articulation of the fifth wheel.
We slept at this nice little rest area last night, and when that truck moves, you can see where we parked. We had plenty of room. We're in our generator, and we had a great night of sleep. So back on the road, day 2. Here we are at our spot. We're about to leave. Doing our final walk around. Just in case you're wondering, it is a little noisy, but it doesn't bother us because we sleep with a sound machine anyway, and the noise doesn't bother us at all.
Huh?